Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. We are from Team C and today we would like to present about same topic that is a letter, but today we will talk about a different part. We will talk about the heading that we just have a some part that is deadline, reference, line and also inside address. I'm the Thailand as moderator and with my teammate Hadisti and Kori Putri Randa and we would like presentation today. What is a letter heading? The letter heading, typically found in the upper left-hand corner of the page, introduces you to the recipient and includes important contextual information such as your name, return address, phone number, email, and date. When writing your heading, be sure to only include the information the recipient needs. Writing an effective heading can also help you make a good first impression and set the tone for the rest of your message. Now we talk about the element or component from the letter heading. The first is return address or sending address. What is the function of return address? Sender address is very important part of the letter heading, which is include the complete address and contact information of the sender of letter. This has several important purposes. The first purpose is the sender identification. The sender address helps the recipient of letter identify who sent the letter. The second purpose is the contact back. Provide a way for recipient to get back uh, if they have a question or need clarification from the letter they get. The third purpose is the professional. Adding return address, giving the letter professional feel and provide information necessary for a business or official communication. Now, after you know several important purposes, now we talk about the placement of return address. The placement return address usually placed at the top left of the letter. If you can imagine, I'll show you the example. Like
Alright
this, as
everyone,
you
so
can
this
see.
is one example of sender address. We can identify some component in this example. Like first, Sarah Jensen is the name of the sender of this letter. She is the writer in resident in comparison. We can also identify her address in Wild Horses Avenue, Silverton, PA 33 251. Alright, after you see the example of return address, now we talk about the content. Based the example we see before, we can identify some component or content in the return address that include the company or individual name, physical address. You can also add telephone number, fax number, or email address, and another information relevant to contact. Now we talk about deadline or date of writing. So what is the function of deadline? Deadline is a hidden element that show when the letters was written or sent. This has several important purposes. First purpose is timelines. That is provide information about when the letter is relevant or valid. The next is following standard. Follow the date writing format applicable in your country or region to avoid confusion. Now, where is the placement of deadline? The deadline usually placed above or below the sender address, depending on your preference or convention use. So what is the format of the deadline? That writing format may vary depending on region conventions. Example of commonly used format are is September 25, 2023 or 09/25/2023. Okay, by including the clear and accurate written address and deadline in your postmail, you provide the recipient with the necessary basic information and convey a professional impression in your writing communication, but are critical to maintain effective communication in letter. Next, about a reference line, will explain by my teammates. For Corey, time is yours.
Oh, hi. Wait a minute.
Next material, reference line. Function. Reference line is an optional element in the letter heading that includes a specific reference number or code related to the letter. Its main purpose is to provide additional information about the mail, ID, identification, and tracking of the mail. Some reason why you might want to include a reference line in your letter are transaction, tracking. For example, in a business context, reference number can be used to track specific transaction or order. Internal purpose. Reference line can also be used for internal purpose, such as referring to specific reference number in company or organization system. Clarification. In some cases, reference lines are used to provide additional information about the subject of the letter or specific context that is important to the recipient. Placement. Typically, the reference line is placed below the date or below the sender address, depending on the preference or convention used. Example. An example of a reference number in a reference line could be invoice number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or other reference X, Y, Z, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, the next material is recipient address. Recipient address is the complete address and contact information of the party who will receive the letter. This includes the name of the person who is receiving the letter, the person title, organization name, and full address. For example, is street, city, state, and zip code. This ensures the letter reaches the content recipient. For the first is placement. The placement, the insert address, is the place at the top right of the letter, usually below the date or reference line or anything. The second one is content. The content insert address include the recipient name, position, or title, if relevant, physical address, and other necessary contact information. Each element in this heading is important part of the letter that help in identification, tracking, and effective communication. Okay, I think that's all our material. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.